Hi everyone, it's Master Ben and welcome back to another Star Citizen video. Now, red keycards are incredibly important when it comes to contested zones, so today I thought I'd show you the quickest way to grind these in two different locations in Pyro. So to find these locations in Pyro, you want to head to either Pyro L3-4, you're looking for the supervisor station just outside, or the equivalent station, which is just to the top right of the Pyro star when you're looking north. And that is Pyro L3-4, once again the supervisor station. Once you've got there, you want to head to the large building in the side of the asteroid, and we're going to be getting underway. So I'll be covering how to get the red keycards, how to get the fuses inside, and also how to get into the loot rooms. However, we'll get to them in a moment. So at the front door, you want to cycle yourself here. From here onwards, you'll have an atmosphere, so that makes life much easier. And I will caveat now that you're going to see a few small bugs, because this is Star Citizen. Enjoy the bugs. Anyway, I digress. We are in the room. It's time to start running forward. And running forward is going to become a theme of this area, but that's absolutely fine because we love running in Star Citizen. So head up to the left once you get into this room. Don't look at the fire for too long, you'll burn your eyes out. This is Pyro, everything is on fire. Once you're at the top of the stairs, you want to do a sprint jump over this gap. If you have broken legs, I'd recommend you repair them. Just a caveat here, you can fall through this part of the map very easily, which is exactly what I did, hence my broken legs. I just recommend you always med yourself up. Once you're in this room, you want to do a sprint jump across this area and drop down the small hole on the side. You can technically drop down anywhere in that room. However, if you don't want to drop into a crossfire, I'd recommend you drop there. Everything is much nicer when you're not being shot when you land. So if you don't need a fuse, you can actually skip ahead to the timestamp on the screen now. But for those of you who do need a fuse and want to probably kill one or two more NPCs, stick with me, we've got a few guys to deal with here, and then we're going to go get those beautiful fuses. So, presuming that you stuck with me, let's talk about why it's important to always get the fuse. Well, that's because even if you have one, the people behind you may not, and by stopping them from getting to the room means you can grind more red keycards while they can't get in there. So heading into this beautiful one careful owner apartment, we head to the back room and lo and behold, there just so happens to be a fuse. Now, isn't that convenient? Gosh, it's so lucky. Always time to get some more ammunition, and now we're going to head out the exact way we came. Be warned, I seem to think that every time you make an event happen in these areas, for example, getting a fuse, going through a door, and more NPCs like to spawn, so now's a good time to get out trusty Big Bertha, the grenade launcher. Grenade launchers are wonderful for contested zones, especially when you'll know you're alone. You just fire them off of direction. If people are still screaming, just keep firing them until they're not. And with that, I'm going to show you a prime example of where you need to be careful about going too close to walls in contested zones. I suspect this is a bug that will be sorted over time, but the walls seem to be a little bit hungry in contested zones, which is very bizarre. So heading through the door, we're going to be going to the right hand side. Enemies always seem to spawn on the right hand side of this door, as you'll see the lovely large pile here. And here comes that lovely bug. If you crouch here, you just get sucked into the air vents. I presume they're just very, very powerful. So I'd never recommend rushing through this part of the contested zone. You'll notice there are a lot of bodies on the floor here. People like to attack you here, so it's good to take things slow. Always check to the left and to the right before you move on. So left seems clear. If we look to the right, however, oh look, there's more people who don't want us here. And now it's time to get the second fuse on this map. So we're looking for the orange boxes just to our left. So jumping up these boxes, we want to then basically climb our way up. Here, I'd recommend you try and sprint jump. And once you get to the top of this balcony, always check to the left here with your torch. It's very common for NPCs to spawn here. So just to highlight, if you think you're being followed, if you jump up here, this platform is really, really wonderful for covering the contested zone door. This means you can let your enemies try and access the door and then kill them as they're turned away from you. Once we're up through the pipes, we're going to continue to follow this hallway all the way around, and this is going to bring us to the second fuse on the map. Now there's a funny old bug around here where there seems to be an armistice zone in this final room, however ignore it, it's not actually real. And just like magic, we have a second fuse. So there's one more trick on this map before we go and actually get the red keycards. So if we exit the same way we came in, I will show you that now. There's a final loot room where you can sometimes find some fairly decent guns. First of all, you just have to get down without breaking your legs. Once again, I'm a firm believer of not dropping into a crossfire. So coming back to this corner, you can see really good overwatch angles, really nice angles of the door you came in. Overall, this is a really great position if you think you're being followed and you just want to hit pause for a moment before you rush into the contested zone's final room. It's important to remember, you don't know what your opponent is doing. They could have a group of friends with them. There's a huge benefit to hanging back, not going into the final room, and killing them there. Any visit to a contested zone would not be finished without saying hi to my best friend Steve. He lives around here in a... Oh god. Steve? Oh no. Oh no. Oh well, let's go get some loot. So this room sadly didn't work on this run, and I've tried many times and this room likes to not work, but I'll explain the premise to you. Get the extra fuse that you just had and put it on this beautiful table in front of you. Now get out your tractor beam and you're aiming for the white dots on the opposite side of that little gap. And what you basically need to do is pick up the fuse, point it at those white dots and tractor beam at him. However, if you can't see the fuse hole from here without zooming in, this zone is bugged and you can move on. Zooming in, this is what it should look like. However, as you can see on this run it didn't, so we're going to move on. As a side note, 2 of those fuse holes should be filled as well. The game typically only asks for 1 there. If you see all 3 are empty, I'd ignore it and move on immediately. Okay, it's finally time to get the red keycards. So this is where you're going to encounter another bug which can be annoying, but there's a really easy workaround. First of all, let's try the normal way. Pick up the fuse, put it into your hand. All you want to do is hold F and you should be able to put the fuse into the door. You don't need to click and drag it, it should just go straight in. If that does not work, which is very common, place it on the ground. Or throw it. Then simply get your tractor beam, point it at the door, and this should push in. Remember, the second you let go, this door is going to begin to open, so make sure you have your covering fire ready if you don't know what's in here. So hanging to the left is really good because there's a giant metal plate in front of you. But assuming that room is empty, we're going to head round to the right and you're going to see 3 boxes on the right hand side wall. Jump up these boxes and then immediately do a 180-degree turn. Put your gun away and now we're going to do a sprint jump across the gap. And then we're going to turn to the left and continue to climb. Once again, as you can see, the physics here are really jittery and like to push you through the map, so just be really careful and take things slow when you can. Drop down this totally safe looking drop. Come into this beautiful room and here we'll find the red keycard room. Wonderful. So this will dispense a key every 30 minutes and lo and behold, one's ready right now. How wonderful. Once the keycard begins to print, you have 2 options really. You can either stay here for 30 minutes or you can leave and maybe try server hop. However, 30 minutes goes quite quickly in the group and can be a fun little way to kill some evening time. So with the keycard in your backpack, you have 2 options again. You could technically just log off to the menus, assuming you haven't been in combat and are not combat logged. Or you could do it the proper way, which is head around to the elevator on this wall here, and that, my friends, you've done it. You've got red keycards. This works in both locations. There's no funny business here. Once this elevator comes, it will put you outside the contested zone and you are good to get back in your ship and leave. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Goodbye.